I'd like to open, if I may, with a song. It's been a while since I have been to the bunker. Where have you been, Kate Bates?
I've been everywhere.
Did you just turn this into a songversation?
I did. Songversation. It's been a hot minute, hasn't it?
It has been a little while. We've had a sojourn, a hiatus. Hiatus, a sojourn.
One or the other.
Breather.
Sojourn sounds like more like a European holiday.
Smoko.
By the lake.
Yeah, well.
It sounds quite fun.
Not quite that.
No.
Look, we have had a little bit of a mid-season hiatus here on the Wheelhouse podcast, but we are very much back in the bunker, ready to go. So much has happened. My name's Joel Spreadborough, and I'm joined by the one and only...
Katerina Bartes.
Thank you. It had been a while.
Do you like how I've just really adapted like my Italian racing name?
Yeah, can I
than my
see your
actual
passport?
name?
Because I would not rule out you having applied that legally.
No, I'd like to actually. Look, it's been an interesting month since we've been in here.
What have you been doing?
Yeah, look, we've had a bit of roller coaster in our personal life, bit of ups and downs.
Yep.
Happy to say we've cleared the haze.
Amazing.
And great to be back. But what about you? Have you been like in rural Canada growing a beard?
I have another song for you.
Yeah.
I'm a lumberjack and that's okay. So I work gold. No, I sleep all night and I work gold. No, I have. I've been in the mountains.
Yes. What mountains?
Building myself a log cabin. The mountains of Brisbane.
Oh,
you know,
good.
those vast mountain ranges that we have. Doomsday prepping.
Oh, good.
Yeah, getting ready for... No, I'm kidding. I've had a very busy 4 or 5 weeks as well. And, it's the first break that we extended break that we've had on this show. And it came at a very special time because we've come back just in time. And if Merxie's with the camera, I just want to circle for episode 60.
60. It's a bit of a milestone, isn't it? I mean, when people turn 60, they get a party.
Yeah.
Are we going to have a party?
Is this not already a party?
Daddy, I'd like a party.
I'd like a party, please, Daddy.
Yes.
But no, honestly, it's been great to have a little break, but it's lovely to be back because so much is happening. I've been really busy working hard for the money.
Working on your beard. Do you know where Merxie's been?
I'd love to know where Merxie's been.
Well, look, there was a little event that was marked. It's been marked every year since 2008. It's called the World Naked Bike Ride. And I suspect that's where Merxie's been. It's clothing optional, Joel.
I laugh without being convinced that you're actually joking.
I don't. Yeah, well, he could have been.
Yeah.
Are we going to get any confirmation?
I'd love to know if he got up in the saddle on the climbs. Merxie!
Didn't get there, but it is on the bucket list. Next year, babe.
Together.
Together?
We could do a team run.
I was talking to Joel.
Oh, good.
That's awkward. Look, the clothing optional bike ride, they deliver a vision of a cleaner, safer, body positive world. Isn't that a cause we can all get behind?
That's a lovely message, an important message. It really is.
Yes. You can use a pair of Wheelhouse cycling socks if you like.
I'll wear my chamois.
Will work between both of you. And
I'll wear my chamois.
Oh dear. Okie dokie.
What have you been doing, Merxie, for the past few weeks?
I was auditioning some podcast hosts.
Oh, for what?
Cheeky.
For what project?
Little cycling podcast.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Australia's freshest and only, I believe, weekly cycling podcast?
Moving on.
All right, good. A bit of insecurity to start the day. Welcome back,
all right.
Kate. Let's now concentrate on getting some good content out there and keeping our gigs. Now, huge announcement. Couple of milestones for all of us. As you say, a bit of a roller coaster, but you've had a very, very big, let's just say, win. I'm going to call it a victory, and I'm not going to steal it from you. What happened? What's the other than everything else amazing that you've been up to? What's stood out for you?
Well, I attended a photo shoot, Joel, and I dressed up in yellow.
Oh, yellow wheelhouse.
Not quite.
Okay.
They photoshopped the logo out. It wasn't for the yellow wiggle. Joel, it was the announcement of the broadcast team for the 2024 Olympics, and I'm happy to say I'm one of the cycling commentators.
Oh, Catherine Bates.
Thank you.
That is
Thank
outstanding.
Give myself a little round of applause.
Yeah.
It's really exciting. I've been to the Olympics before in the broadcast team, but as a reporter. So this is my first official one as a commentator.
Brilliant.
But it's really exciting. I'll be working with Scott McGrory, friend of the show, Phil Liggett, great friend of the show.
Phil loves the wheelhouse.
We've got Caroline Buchanan in there as well, Cadell Evans. I mean, we're pretty much just like naming our besties, right?
Yeah, I was going to say the
cool.
royal family, basically, trotting out, yeah.
And then we've got a fellow by the name of Mitch Tomlinson who does like the BMX and the skate. He's a legend in all that area. And then this fella by the name of Ryan Williams, who we are going to get on this podcast if it is the last thing that I do, Joel.
Yep.
Because I've told him about how I chased Logan Martin through an airport. And so, yeah.
Mercy.
Here's the photo. She's in yellow.
Brilliant.
There it is.
Kate
there you go.
Bates.
See, I told you yellow wiggle. So they dressed us all in primary colours because, you know, they're the Olympic colours.
And you got the yellow ring.
I got the yellow.
Outstanding.
So
and some names in there. Dylan Alcott.
Yes, he's amazing. He's
brilliant.
I mean, one of our most incredible athletes. I don't even know how many Grand Slams he's won. Too many to even remember off the top of my head. But we've got Ellie Cole, Steve Hooker for athletics, incredible. Georgie Parker's there for hockey. Kerry Pothurst. Do you remember when she won a gold medal at the Sydney Olympics?
100%, Bondi Beach, yeah.
Never forget. Such an iconic moment. So it's a really cool team to be part of.
I got to do a very special thing. It was about 2 years ago where we went back to Bondi and we filmed a little segment where she recreated the victory moment.
Well, that's
and
so
it was
cool.
such a goosey spine. Like she was the passion and the authenticity that she brought to reliving that moment was so special.
Oh, yeah. They all have such good stories. And you'll notice in the photo that there's two fellas with like a beanie and a hat on.
Yeah.
That would be Mitch and Ryan, our BMX team.
I was going to say the BMX guys. I tell you what, Mitch though, you'd be excited if you were Mitch because you're the guy that gets to call the guaranteed gold medal of Logan from Logan. So that's pretty
I know. Well, look, we'll let him tell the story himself.
Yeah.
But Merksy came along as well. And, he's always hunting for talent. And I believe there's a story along the lines of Ryan Williams actually beating Logan Martin.
Oh, no. Wow.
So I want to hear that. And, look, I think they're going like for like because he's also got a pump track a big ramp in his backyard on the Sunshine Coast. So this is like Gold Coast versus Sunshine Coast. Oh, there's a rivalry.
That's outstanding. That's outstanding. More, and you know what? I don't mean to be parochial, but yet again, the Queenslanders.
The Queenslanders.
And we'll have more on that as we get across because there's so much to cover. La Vuelta has been lighting up the mountains and the roads of Spain. We're going to talk about Australian effort there. It's been good. We're going to talk about the triumvirate. I love this. And I want to give a shout out to Buttered Frog on X for mentioning that we now have a triumvirate and a trident in world cycling. And I'm almost shaking with excitement at the thought. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about etiquette. We'll talk about birthday etiquette as well. I'm looking forward to getting your take on that. If you've been catching up with the GT over there, you'll know what I'm talking about. And also a ridiculous record attempt done successfully with some real patchwork bike mechanics happening as well. We're going to get into that. I'm really excited about it.
It's the bonus of having a wee break, Joel, is that there's a lot of fun stuff when we come back.
Yeah. Are you saying you're going to go for a wee break?
No. Very funny.
As in a small break. So sorry. Yeah. My mistake. I'm sorry. I've been too long in the mountains. Okay, let's get into it. Welcome back. And a massive shout out. Sorry, not allowed to say that. Massive congratulations to you. For a very, very well-earned appointment to the Olympic commentary team and the nuance, the authority, the knowledge, the insight, and hopefully the nicknames that you're going to bring viewers. It's outstanding.
Well, you may need to sit down with Scott McGrory and give him a little bit of a lesson in the nicknamery.
Yeah, do you reckon he'll go toe for toe?
Yeah, I reckon he could.
Okay.
I reckon he could.
Toe to toe, whatever it is. Anyway, amazing, exciting. Let's go to CIMAC Ladies Tour. I was paying some attention to, Lottie Kopecky. Yeah, she's doing all right. Yeah. Oh, Lottie, she's still doing it. Oh, gee, where's Lottie Kopecky? Give someone else a go. Outstanding.
It was just, what struck me about the Simac Ladies Tour, it's one of the oldest women's races. It was simply called the Holland Ladies Tour when I raced. And you were both super excited and terrified about it at the same time because it goes through beautiful terrain. A lot of it is quite flat in the Netherlands.
Yep.
And so you have these epic races with crosswinds that you just know are going to split the group from moment to moment. And then it finishes down in the more hilly area, down the bottom of the Netherlands. But I'm going to tell you a little story. I was going to say it's just wonderful seeing Lachy Morton in the rainbow jersey, and it is.
Yeah.
I mean, very quickly she had the leader's jersey on, so she didn't wear it. But when I raced there, they had a particular sponsor, and the jersey was like a off-green colour, like half brown, half green. I would describe the jersey as. So, not a typical leader's jersey colour. And the race sponsor was a company called Baby Dump.
Okay.
And so it had...
yeah.
It had
I was going to say, what shade of brown,
off
anyway?
Brown jersey with Baby Dump written across its back. And I can tell you that the Australians got a lot of joy out of that. It's just one of those fun language things.
What is it with us and puerile humour?
I don't know. It works though. I can confirm Baby Dump no longer sponsor a jersey that is that colour.
Okay.
But yeah.
Optics are everything. Baby poo brown, literally any other colour.
I know. But
right.
anyway, I won't keep banging on about that one. But
look, what a season. SD Works once again. And Lorena, I got to give a shout out to V-Bez as well. Some very solid sprinting there.
Solid sprinting. I mean, I think it's been with Worlds early.
Yeah.
It's a little bit odd
to
then have a new rainbow jersey racing in the back end of the season.
100%.
That's a little bit odd.
It's all a little bit upside down.
But I don't dislike it. Like, I quite like that Lachy Morton has won, and then now we're getting to see her racing in the rainbows before we have the season break. So it's actually, I think, kind of cool. But I was thinking about, like, is Lachy Morton the best rider of the season, men, women, across the board? It's very easy at this point with everything that happened in Glasgow.
Yeah.
Winning on the track, winning on the road, now coming out, winning her first race after Worlds in the rainbows to say, heck yeah. But then if you look at where the season started, Demi Vollering, like there's some pretty tough competition. So I think, Demi's kind of just cruising out the end of her season. But
she's done some significant damage to everyone else over the year.
Everybody. But V-Bez and Kopecky continue to have incredible form.
Yep.
And remembering that they're both on the same team, so SD Works, pretty dominant show.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
At a home race. It's great. Like, I think it's kind of all the right feels.
I say ridiculous in like a go team kind of thing. Like we have spent a bit of time on this program. No other word for it. Shit canning SD Works and various tactics. But you know what? Outstanding. And I think I love this about cycling. You have to have a really long memory, even within the one season, because you're so correct. Someone who's just absolutely indestructible 6 months ago might be having a little bit of a coast now. How do we compare those performances to say who's the GOAT of the year?
I think we're going to have to do that in a couple of weeks when the season wraps up. That is exactly what we'll have to do.
I'm looking forward to that, Kate.
It is. But Simac Ladies Tour ended up being another really big milestone of the season, Joel. I'm a little bit sad.
Oh, no, me too.
I am.
Speaking of GOATs, that was just there for a segue, but yeah.
Yep.
You can lead out on this one, Bates.
We say farewell to the racing career of the one and only Annemiek van Vleuten.
Yeah.
GOAT of all goats.
She's the GOAT of goats, isn't she?
GOAT of goats.
Of all other goats, look to this GOAT when they're looking for goat-related advice.
I don't want to bore everybody, but 104 wins, right? I'm going to go through some of them because it's just remarkable. 2 world championships in the road race, 2 in the time trial, an Olympic gold medal in the time trial, a silver in the road race, a Tour de France victory, 4 Giro victories, a Vuelta victory, 3 Grand Tours all in one season, 2 Liège, Bastogne-Liège, 2 Strade Bianche, 2 Ronde van Vlaanderen. That's just the highlights. That's certainly by no means her full CV. It's pretty amazing.
I think that effort, once again, parochial Australian, but that effort in Wollongong with the you're going down in a time trial rather nastily, and then you were pushing out a dominant victory in the road race mere hours later. I'm being dramatic. It was a few days later,
she highlighted that as one of her
huge
best wins.
That's that tenacious all time. Like you speak about dominant victories and full peak fitness, whatever. Those moments, those sporting moments when they overcome that kind of adversity, the mental strength, the courage, and I guess the threshold, the pain threshold that you can defy at that level, that's a massive standout.
So Merksy and I had a great conversation the other night. We were watching the NRL, its final season for any NRL's fan.
How's Para going?
AFL and moving
going
on.
all right,
Broncos
Para?
are going well, so half
Did
the house
Para,
is happy.
Sorry to linger on it, but did they?
No,
make the
keep moving on.
finals?
No, they didn't, Joel.
Good.
Anyway, one of the great
year.
players of the game, Brian Pappenhausen, coming back for the Melbourne Storm after nearly a year and a half off, went down, very badly injured his ankle.
Yep.
He's certainly season, maybe plural, maybe career.
Yep.
It's a not comeback, maybe. Pretty tough to watch. And I had a really visceral reaction watching it. I felt sick for the guy, and not just in that's bad luck, but it reminded me of so many moments in cycling in my own career, but also when you're watching, that you take it for granted how often these athletes win.
Yeah.
And they keep winning and you're like, wow, they just win so much, to the point where we even go, it's a little bit boring.
Stop winning, you're
when they
boring
win
us,
so much. But so much can go wrong.
Yeah.
And when we looked at Pappenhausen, nothing really badly went wrong, nothing obvious, and it still went to crap. Like, it still was disastrous. Annemiek van Vleuten didn't really do anything wrong in the team's time trial, but it went to crap and she was nearly completely out of it.
Yeah.
A few days later, she's winning a world title. These moments aren't small.
Yep.
And each single one of them is a legacy left behind. For her to do it 104 times, it's unquantifiable, the impact that she's had on the sport. And, I remember Michael Rogers, one of the Aussies who won 3 World Time Trial Championships, he won so many, losing the Tour de France yellow jersey with a broken collarbone. Like, got up, tried to finish the stage, couldn't finish the stage. There's so many moments that could end up as your biggest victories that turn into these tragedies. So to look at her career and how many bones she's broken, how many times she's been down but never out, it is simply remarkable. And I just don't think you could really ever find many athletes so dedicated to the craft, so purposeful in what they do. It really is incredible. And it's sad that she won't be, of course, good on her. She's 41. Heavens, put your feet up, enjoy retirement. But,
arguably could keep going, to be fair.
But it's a bit sad to close the door on the career.
It is. And you know what? I love that you've brought that out about that pushing through pain. Another thing we've spoken about this year, I talk about Remco, of course, with some of the criticism around the Giro and, come on, get back on your bike, you'll be right. And being like, guys, if they can, they will. They always will. They're an elite athlete, that this is everything for them. They will. And I think she proved that so many times. And again, that's why that particular victory, obviously being there, exclusive for the Wheelhouse, and calling that one just to ourselves. We were just calling it to each other. But it was a real privilege, wasn't it? And
it was, yeah.
That monologue that you've given, I just want to plant a seed. You should consider applying for a job as an Olympics commentator. 'Cause that was,
you think? Put my CV in?
Got me.
Can you write me a reference?
Yeah,
Like a
you
reference
sure?
note?
Kate is really good. You've misspelt Kate.
Yeah.
First error.
Well, since Merks is looking for new podcast hosts, I'm not sure he'll sign off on it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Look, I mean, she was a ruthless killer on the bike, but I think off the bike, she's a much gentler soul. And whatever her future holds for her, this won't be the last we've heard of her. I'm quite sure of that.
Well, let's hope she stays around the sport. But
special comments.
Yeah, 100%.
Ooh, I'd
there's
love
got to
that.
be. You'd just name your price, wouldn't you?
I know.
But anyway, look, we love Annemiek and we love the Dutch Trident. I'll find a way to get it to restore it, but it'll never be the same. Let's be honest.
Yeah, no. I mean, Ellen van Dijk will be back, and then you'll have Wiebes and Vollering and van Dijk, maybe.
Okay, yeah, that's getting all right.
Yeah.
That's it. That's okay. I did have dreams of
there's
it
a significant height differential between the three of them, though. Does that affect it?
What does that make it? Yeah, sure.
I don't know. Dessert
a
fork?
Poker. Yeah, like okay. Pitchfork. Look, awesome. Not the only retirement to rattle the emotions of cycling fans recently, of course.
Jeez. It's going to be a hard end of
season. Actually, a couple of Aussies that we'll be a little bit sad about as well.
Yeah, well, So Annemiek has retired. She's called her last day, the end of the Timac Ladies Tour, and that's because it's kind of near her house. The last day of the World Tour season this year is the 17th of October. We'll see quite a number sign out there, including Aussies Rachel Neylan and Jessica Allen, which they both had incredible careers as well. Yeah. I'd love to get both of them on at some point too, Joel, because they've also been absolute trailblazers in the sport in Australia. And Jess Allen is a very good coach. And I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see her very quickly transition into pretty senior coaching ranks in Australia. We don't have a lot of female coaches.
Okay.
It's a problem everybody's got their eye on and looking to fix. But someone like Jess Allen, she's been coaching through the back end of her career. So she's got a number of athletes racing with her.
That she's coaching?
Yeah.
She's like, you're doing really well.
Yeah,
remember what I told you? Actually, no, don't. Forget that bit.
I know, conflict of interest. But the one that got me in the feels a bit, he's had his last race day, it's Daryl Impey.
Oh, I was going to get to... I'm glad you got to Daryl. That's...
well, look, he wrote...
trail off in emotion here.
I know. He's always had a bit of a special part for Aussie cycling fans. He's South African, but, he rode for, Orica Green Edge. 2013 became the first South African to wear the yellow jersey at the Tour de France. I was there. I got to interview him. It was such a beautiful moment of emotion.
Yeah.
And he's just a really pure, kind, genuine fella who races his bike because he loves it. But he and his family, it's time to move on to the next chapter. But Joel, apparently he's moving to Sydney, Australia.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know why. I couldn't Google quick enough to figure that one out.
Oh, look, maybe just the beautiful, peaceful traffic, a lot of lack of toll roads.
Do you think there should be a petition to get him to Bris Vegas?
I'd like to think that if he's made this decision, he's not aware that Bris Vegas exists. That's my biased thought.
Host.
Yes.
Merksy has a thought on that as well. I'm going to say no to that one from Merksy.
No podcast hosting.
I don't think he has a future in podcast hosting, especially here in Brisbane.
I mean, we do realise he's got his own little YouTube show and he's very popular.
That's enough, isn't it? Don't be greedy. You've got
maybe
enough.
He can get us on his podcast.
We love you, Daryl.
Cross promotion
anytime.
And since he's moving to Australia, he's been now officially named Dazza.
Yeah, of course.
He can't be
Impo.
Daryl.
Yeah.
Come on.
Impo. Yeah. Love it. Yeah, I love that.
Dazza.
But amazing.
I put into the Google bot who's retiring this year because I'm like, we know the big names. We know the Mark Cavendish, the Thibaut Pinot. He'll be so missed.
That's huge.
Rowan
Peter
Dennis,
Sagan.
of course.
Peter Sagan.
Peter Sagan's going into the hospitality industry. Yeah.
Peter Sagan. How many times do I need to say that to satisfy Merksy? Sorry, Merksy.
Yeah.
But 50 cyclists are retiring out of World Tour or pro level ranks. 50. That's like quite a renewal. That's quite a big turnover.
Yeah, I wonder how many of those retirements have been accelerated or the mindset has changed over the last few years. You know, what we've all had with the world and that perspective shifting time in history. I wonder if some of these careers might have seen a couple of more seasons if there wasn't a giant reason to reshape the way that you think about life and
it
the
is
world
a good
and
question.
All of that. Yeah.
I mean, I also wonder, Merksy, have a thought?
What about Caleb Ewan?
He's not retiring.
Isn't he?
He's not retiring.
What do you know? You got some dirt, Merksy?
No, I just read Twitter.
Okay. Have you got an exclusive scoop, Merksy? No.
Just stirring shit.
Stirring shit. No, I think that people are talking about Caleb retiring because Lotto said they'll let him go and he hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
But I think it's a bit of a complicated one, that one.
I feel that there's a fire burning for Caleb. Like there's a hunger, you know. It'd be a surprise, but Crossroads.
I mean, I just wonder if there's, not 20-odd young men who just can't stand to be in the pro peloton that doesn't have Peter Sagan in it.
Peter Sug, Peter Sug. I think, okay, having watched the Cavendish doco a few times and loved it, and seen the depths of despair, mentally, physically, and that ever-present perpetual desire to get back on the bike, I just think that it's a sport that creates that in its competitors, in its participants.
Well, and that, like I say, that always a cyclist.
Yeah, that's it. And that perspective shift that I speak of is the only real reason, other than injury, whatever. That it's like, I don't know. I just think Caleb, you'd have a point to prove. Geez, you'd have Peter Sagan. You're good, dude. Good job, bro. Go open a resort.
Well, those 20 that can't stand to race in a peloton without Peter Sagan are probably booked in at the bike hotel already.
30% off, free breakfast. It's all good. Yeah. No, look, it's awesome. And as I say, so many tenacious athletes that give so much, and that love of what they do. And as for athletes in general, of course, they love their sport. They love it, love it, love it. But to go through what cyclists go through, and to just want to keep coming back, that's a different kind of animal.
Yeah, maybe a few brain cells lost along the way. How do we justify it otherwise?
You know what? We wouldn't have it any other way, because wowee,
exactly.
Some of the displays. And imagine, I'm just going to get on my soapbox really quickly.
Oh, do it.
If we get that point in a year or 2 or 3 where Caleb Ewan does something unimaginably special, and then we all start talking about, remember that Crossroads and that's theatre that you can't script.
Yeah. Find me a legend without a Crossroads.
Yeah. Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Doesn't happen.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, got nothing. Absolutely nothing.
That's when you transcend, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
When it's the tough stuff that changes it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're getting very philosophical.
On that Cav doco, like some of those crashes, what are you doing? Coming back from that. He's not alone,
I think it is.
Course,
I think that what I've got circled next on the rundown segues beautifully into that, Joel.
Speaking of retirement athletes,
right? I don't think you can stay away, because we've had some news this week, Joel, and as your job as, a media professional, I believe a press release came across your desk.
It did, yeah.
About this very topic.
Would you like me to read it?
Please, please.
Thank you for saying professional, by the way.
It's my pleasure.
Hi, Joel. Hello. A new public time trail on Wollonga Hill at the next Santos Tour Down Under will feature legendary Australian cyclist Richie Port.
Ooh.
Recreational riders can take on the recently retired Port as part of new participation rides at Australia's greatest cycling event. Richie has attached some audio and some video talking about it. He's pumped, long story short. Grueling 3-kilometre test up Wollonga, as we know. We've pushed a camera gear up it. Well, no, we didn't, but anyway, we got the idea with the corkscrew. Is one of 3 public cycling events announced today, so it's all happening at the TDU next year. Join the queue, though, to ride and do your best to beat Port. Amateur cyclists will tackle the time trial, leave from the starting ramp in 1-minute intervals. I love this. With Port then let loose to chase down the riders ahead. That's awesome.
It only costs $49, Joel.
$49.
$49. And do you know what? I saw a lot in there about, Richie Port, what a legend. He's flown up Wollonga before. He'll fly up there again. I am so sure that amongst the amateur cohort, there will be some people who are pretty much professional. Like, they will be taking it seriously.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'll be making every dollar of their $49 count.
Yeah.
Joel, I've got another idea for Team Wheelhouse, though. I've always wondered what would happen if you got one of those T-Rex costumes and rode a bike. So I'm throwing down the challenge to your good self and Merksy as well. What if we got like 3 starting times in a row 3 T-Rexes.
What? Okay.
Racing up Wollonga.
Why this prehistoric preoccupation?
I don't know. I mean, you can choose another outfit if you want. I just don't know.
Okay, it doesn't need to be a T-Rex.
No,
I'm just thinking about the arms, Kate.
I just thought it would be... I've never been in one of those T-Rex suits.
Like, how do you can't... Look, it's sort of like...
Yeah.
You can't...
How do you... I mean, being, a podcast... Your little T-Rex arms are hard to hear, Joel.
Picture my hands basically being attached to my chest. No wrist, no arms. Just doing these ones.
Yeah. Look, it might be, I don't know, I'd have to try the suit on. But, I mean, we can take, open to the viewers.
Yeah.
To suggest other outfits. But what can I say? I think we can have a little bit of fun with it. And quite frankly, I'll be disappointed if there aren't other people amongst the cohort who... yes, technically taking it seriously, but I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll be listening to this. G'day team at Two Down Under. Yeah. And there'll be a few little terms and conditions that pop up that might include
no T-Rex outfits. We'll push those boundaries.
But if not, I mean, I'll go over them with a fine-tooth comb. And our legal team here at the Wheelhouse,
all 12 of them, is high-priced
is
lawyers.
Prepared to really push this one.
And so they should be, because we need to give it the attention it deserves. Richie's a 7-time winner up that famous stage. So if there's anyone you want to take on in a T-Rex costume, whatever, in your lycra, whatever you happen to be wearing, it's Richie.
I mean, can we get him in the T-Rex costume?
I was going to say, I love Richie Port. I won't go into a deep dive on why, but I just think he's outstanding. I've got a little thing here that I find that his comments are lacking a tiny bit of spice, a tiny bit of...
Right.
I might be wrong.
Okay,
shoot
all right.
me. Shoot the messenger, please. But here we go.
Hit me.
I love being in Adelaide, and especially during the Santos Tour Down Under. I'm already looking forward to being back on my bike, but without the full pressure of having the peloton behind me. It will be so much fun trying to catch the entrance in the time trial up Wollonga Hill. End quote.
Okay.
Are you really excited, Richie?
Well, what about we put a bit of twist on that? I'm so excited to be back in Adelaide and racing up Wollonga without the field behind me. See, come on. It's like
there's
a
you
bit
think
of tone
the
in
delivery was okay?
I think so.
All right, sure. Okay. I love being back in Adelaide. No worries. Let's get him in a T-Rex costume.
$49. Get on it, honestly. I think this is going to be really cool.
On the Wheelhouse podcast, back in the bunker for the 60th instalment. I'm Joel Spreadbrook. Kate Bates is here as well. Let's talk now. I love your note here. Oh, to be Yumbo, basically.
Oh, to be, yes. Well,
a little bit of unpacking to do here, isn't there?
When we do a rundown, I like to be very specific. And oh, to be Yumbo, I think that kind of sums up what's going on in España right now.
Yep.
Other than a lot of sangria drinking and the summer.
Yep.
But beside that...
A lot of dominating.
A lot of dominating.
Yeah.
By
Top
Team Yumbo.
3. There's a bit of interesting controversy around this and around special occasions and milestones and, should you get a little bit of special treatment? And if you're in Yumbo, the answer is an emphatic no. Don't care. You're not getting it. Well, I refer to Sepp Kuss here. Does a rider like Sepp deserve to be given the nod? Do you want to win a stage or indeed a GT as a gift, as a nod from your teammates?
I think this is probably one of the greatest debate topics you'll ever find in the cycling world. Sepp Kuss is so well loved. I think that's the thing. He's like the super domestique that does win sometimes when given the opportunity. We've seen heroics at the Tour de France. The American rider is just genuinely loved by fans for being the good guy and the super domestique that every team wishes they could just clone him and they'd kill it. Now, he managed to get himself in the Rojo. That's the first time this season I've been able to say that. Rojo. Yes. And, they went in, of course, Remco was making big noise about him chasing the victory, and it looked like he was in the Rojo early, looked like it was all for him. Of course, Jumbo went with 2 team leaders, with Jonas and with Roglic, so everyone thought, okay. All of a sudden enter Sepp Kuss, who's not just the Super Domestique, but he wins a stage. He finds himself in the race lead. Fast forward 10 stages.
Yeah.
Jumbo 1, 2, 3 on GC. There's 4 minutes back to Mikel Landa in fourth.
Just forget about
Like,
it. Yeah.
Hard to lose the race at this point.
Unless
like,
maybe even if you're in a
wood.
T-Rex costume, you'd struggle.
Oh,
to not
see?
lose.
Now you're talking. That could be fun. So the big debate is, should they let Seppi, that's my name for him, I just think it's cute.
I like couscous.
Because, actually I like that too. Should they let him win or support him to win? Not let him, but support him, ride for him to keep that jersey? Or should it be like, and Jumbo's official statement is, the road will decide.
Yeah, you know what? We again, driving into our 60-episode deep archive, we've spoken about this before. And we've also spoken about, you've mentioned it in this episode as well, dominant champions becoming boring, perceived as boring. And I've always been very firm on the, don't mind a dominant champion as long as you earn that dominance, as long as you earn those stripes. I'm not really a fan of gifting in elite sport. I'm not. I'm sorry.
No, I understand it. I have two views on this.
Yep.
I'm going to argue against myself here.
Okay.
On one side, I would love nothing more than to watch Jonas and Roglic go head-to-head for a Grand Tour. Absent having to worry about any other competition. Don't have to worry about people from the outside. They've got this. It's just kind of mano a mano going for the title.
Yeah, that'd be
Love
special.
it. Like that is, a sports fan's dream. Like, you couldn't better curate it. Like, it's
just,
beautiful,
I
right?
can see it now. Christophe Mallet on SBS saying, "Welcome to the Tour de France. The first time ever. Only 2 racers are competing." Everyone's going, what?
Can you imagine they're getting on the bus together at the end and
yeah.
It's great, all the drama. But then enter, cycling's nicest man, who's actually also on that team bus, whose birthday it was yesterday, and on his birthday, they kind of humiliated him. They attacked him to the point where in the finish, he sprinted Mikel Landa for the line, and then there's vision of him going to Mikel Landa and apologising and saying, "Sorry, I don't normally sprint for third in a mountain stage, but I wanted the time bonus so I could keep the jersey." This is to a guy in another team. On his birthday.
Yeah, Merckxy has a thought.
Kaylee Fritz summed it up, in my view.
Okay.
He said, "You just do not race your teammates."
Ooh.
You don't race your teammates.
I don't know.
I think when he's wearing a red jersey, you got to ride for him. He's done it for them.
Yeah, I guess. So I suppose that actually perfectly is the intersection of where I can see both sides, because I think that Kuss has been this incredible lieutenant, right?
Yeah. And
he's done so much for them. Does he not deserve his moment?
But again, as we saw, I keep talking about docos. I've caught Kate Bates-itis here talking about docos. But Unchained, Team Bus, some heartbreaking decisions have to be made in the best interest of the best prospect. How have they not had these discussions? Of course they have.
Jonas came out overnight and said, "I'd love to see Sepp win overall."
Oh, bullshit, Jonas.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Bullshit.
That's kind of incongruent with your actions on the bicycle.
Yeah, I love you, Jonas. I know you're family and whatnot for Kate, the Bates clan, but no, not buying it.
No. So you know what I want to feel comfortable about all of this?
Go on.
I want the bullshit to stop.
Yes.
I want Jonas and Primoz
Yeah.
and Seppi, I want them to come out and go, every man for himself. I want Primoz to go, you know what? He's such a good guy. Love him. Want a holiday with him and his family after this. But this is a Grand Tour and I am not giving up a Grand Tour if I have the best legs. Let us race. And I want Jonas to do the same.
I do too.
I want just pure honesty. I don't want any of this,
I'm sorry,
I hope he wins.
Yeah.
I'm going to attack him. And I want Sepp Kuss to come out and say, you know what? This sucks. But the reason that Jumbo is so good is because there's no giveaways.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
you
I
don't
agree.
get given a Grand Tour victory. You fight for it, and
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah,
here we are.
It's Jonas. For me, it's like a LinkedIn post, a gushy, #blessed. I'm so privileged to have such wonderful bullshit. You don't mean that. That's not how you talk.
Come on now.
And I'm sorry, but I have to say, Yumbo, I love you, Sepp, but have you been turned into a youthful AI version of yourself?
Oh, please never. That was so creepy. I'm just saying,
headline acts and whatnot. But anyway, look, it's a good debate. It is an interesting debate. And I'm all for nice guys, nice girls in the arena, whatever that arena is. It's always lovely to see. You referred to Ryan Pappenhausen before in the NRL. One of the lovely optics that we got out of that was rivals, teammates showing concern, putting the battle aside for those moments. But then the battle got back underway.
It did, very quickly.
And they started kicking the shit out of each other once again because that's
literally
what you need to
did.
Do to win. Yeah. But that's kind of my thing on it. It's like, yes, there is a line that you draw. It is literally a line that you cross when it all becomes friendly and amiable again.
I hope, and I may be in another world here, but what I hope is going on in the bus is that the management have had the foresight and the emotional intelligence to sit the three of them down or the whole team and say, how do we want to do it? Like, what do you think should happen here?
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that Sepp Kuss wouldn't say, I want to be gifted the victory.
I don't think that either,
But on the basis of that, that's the stuff we want to know. Like, I want them to just say, like, the road will decide is a little airy-fairy for me. I would love them to say, we are so good because we push the limits. Nobody wins a Grand Tour, no one on this team or on any other team by a gift. You race your heart out, and that is what these three guys are doing. And they are enemies on the road, even though they're in a team, because they're so far ahead of everybody else that they can afford to do
They're
it.
the triumvirate.
They're the
triumvirate. And look, I don't know. I just think... Okay, Stephen Bradbury, great example. They didn't let him win, but a mishap allowed him to take advantage. Watching that vision, you watch that. His first reaction is one of almost embarrassment. Yes, he owned the win and he trained hard. He did everything, but that first reaction is like, ugh.
Well, that's it.
That happened
because they've been criticised for not really celebrating the wins.
Yeah,
but I think part of that is probably they know what everybody's saying and they know what it looks like and. See, where's our camera on this one? We're never going to get the doco behind this.
No, I know.
That's what I want.
Jeez, I've tried, though. You've got to earn your stripes. Merksy.
Just got to point out, they're going to win the third Grand Tour of the year.
Outstanding. The Grand Slam.
And look, when I was putting this rundown together, a few things got culled. In fact, only one thing got culled. But I'm going to bring it back in just really quickly.
I was wondering what was happening.
Yeah, and that is that Wout van Aert won the Tour of Britain.
You know what? I'm glad you brought out your boy Wout because I was going to say that whole the line of don't race against your teammates. Tell that to Wout van Aert.
Yeah. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
That whole team, I mean, they've had a pretty remarkable year. I think they're on the top of when we're looking in a few weeks at our, riders of the year, teams of the year.
Oh, absolutely. The Brisbane
Jumbo
Broncos of the world
job.
cycling scene. There's no doubt about it. Cheeky plug.
Moving on.
Go the Broncos. Okay, Caden Groves has been outstanding. I think, still in a rough semblance of the mix, but overall, regardless of where he finishes from here, you're going to leave this tour thinking, okay, I've arrived. Massive, massive growth for him.
Yeah.
And being like, you know what? Not only am I part of this peloton, I'm a pretty dangerous part of this peloton. It's been great.
I mean, he won 2 stages early on. There's still 2 flat stages, including the final one, which I think he can give a nudge because he is wearing the points jersey, which is unreal.
It's awesome.
So good. We haven't had an Aussie win the points jersey at the Vuelta before. The mountains jersey, yes. But the points, no. He's a Queenslander. What can I say, Joel?
Thank you.
I mean, that's for you.
I was like, I have a limit of how many times I can say Queensland. Thank you for
there you
picking
go.
that
No
one
problem. He's really matured this Vuelta, and his interviews have evolved as well. The way he's talking about the race tactic and his team, but he's racing for Alpecin de Koning. So I'm wondering if, as he continues, his star continues to rise, if that's going to be the team that can continue to support him. That's my big question mark.
Interesting.
Will we see him poached and on the move? I don't know, but he's got a good head on his shoulders, and for all intents and purposes, I reckon if he keeps keeps his momentum going, we could see him really as one of the absolute top liners at the Tour de France, because that's the big next step, right? Yep. Is the Vuelta, it's pretty impressive to win stages, but the Tour is just that next step up.
Next level. So. A good place to acquit yourself, though, because even leading into various races and GTs this year, we've been like, okay, looking at the Aussies, look, Benny O'Connor, lock him in for something. Jai, love him. Oh, Jay, absolutely. Caden, go away and keep working on it. And we'll include you in the big six next time.
Yes.
But he's now in that. He's now there.
I mean, he's got a not a cyclocross, like motocross background.
Yeah.
So he's got great skills.
Yeah.
It's awesome to watch the aerial shots of him making his way through the bunch. There's almost like a protective layer around him, like he's on a motorbike. Like he's a little bit bigger than himself, and he makes his way through. It's really cool to watch.
Such confidence, hey? It's almost like Tommy Pidcock on the
feathers.
The old feathers.
It's very impressive.
Just defying everything.
We also do have to say Jay Vine.
Yep.
He's had a really tough time.
Has.
So we're sending all our best thoughts and wishes to Team Vine, because the year is not ending how it started. And so I hope that they can, have a little bit of physical and mental rest over the off-season and come back fighting again for TDU.
We spoke about tenacity, and there's a truckload of it.
It is
JV, so he'll be right.
And the other one at the Vuelta who's been really impressive is Michael Storer.
Yeah.
He's had a couple of top fives. He's a light climber. He's just been sort of on the up and up. Mm-hmm. And I really think that we need to just keep a close eye on his progression as well, because he hasn't gone unnoticed, but to be running, top five in these really big mountain stages at the Vuelta, that's a next step in the maturity. It's like the breeding ground. The Vuelta is the breeding ground for Aussie talent. It's great.
I just love the Aussies have just put such a stamp on these GTs in the last 3 or 4 years. It's sort of...
Well, I did look Michael Storer. I mean, I look these riders up fairly consistently to see if there's been any new fun facts kind of added. Yep. And his wiki has been updated, where his nickname is now Michael Storer the Destroyer, right? And I wonder if when somebody thought Destroyer, they didn't say it out loud, because Storer and Destroyer look like that they'd go really well together.
Yeah.
But then when you say it out loud,
I feel like it's better than like Michael Storer the Borer.
That is, yes.
For example.
Yep. I mean, I can't naturally think of a rhyming one, but...
Michael Storer reading the Torah.
Not your normal sporting nickname.
Yeah.
But, we can work
Here we go.
on that.
Michael Storer for richer or poorer.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
It's a good
Michael
rhyming
Storer,
headline for you.
Good strong jawer.
If you're giving nickname tips to Scott, I think, Merksy, we might need a little bit of a extra hand in that.
Look, I've had a few weeks off, okay?
It's okay.
Us preppers up in the mountains, we don't make jokes.
You're doomsdayers.
It's all very serious.
Oh, dear.
Australia's announced its gravel team for the Gravel World Champions, and you always love spruiking not only the names that we expect to see, but those ones to watch. Who you got? What do you like?
Look, I'm excited because Australia has a big team, and that's because the top 25% at each of the World Cup or gravel, World Cup series thingos, they change their name every year. Joel, who can keep up? Thank you, UCI. The top 25% of the field qualify for Worlds. So actually, we've got a good raft of Aussies going because we had one of the qualifying rounds in Perth. So that's pretty cool. Brilliant. But it's headlined by Freddie Ovett and Nathan Haas on the men. And Nathan Haas was, I think, 14th or 15th last year. Freddie Ovett, we know from Esports Worlds, he's just a real goer. Like, he's so talented.
Yep.
Tiff Cromwell for the women.
We love
come
Tiff.
on now. We've got a great team. But when I was going through the list of, potential people who've qualified, like, globally, who may be there, it was like, in the tennis they have like the legends matches. Like John McEnroe still trolleys himself out on court.
It's like a mix of a testimonial and a legends, but they do it. The Australian Open does it. They get a couple of legends out to play
they
some
do it
doubles.
in cricket, I'm sure.
Yeah,
that's what the Gravel World start list reads like.
That's awesome.
It's like the World Tour riders, they duck over to gravel to retire. Nico Roach, Daniel Oss, Nicky Terpstra, Paris-Roubaix winner, Johnny Hogeland. If anybody doesn't remember him, Google Johnny Hogeland at the Tour de France. He flew into a barbed wire fence after being hit by a race car. That was pretty brutal. Michael Barry, Alex
When
Dowsett.
you say race car, you mean not a Formula One car, like a cycling race
as in
car.
one of in the convoy.
That would have been a story.
Yeah, Commissaire's car.
So Max Verstappen is way off course in his Red Bull, but anyway, okay, yeah.
Would have been. And you know who else has qualified? Wout van Aert. He'll be there.
I'm not allowed to say Queensland. You have a cap on your Wout mentions, mate. From now on, you get 500 per episode. That's it.
Okay, all right, we're done. He'll be there. So it's going to be a bit of an all-star.
That's awesome, yeah.
But I'm just going to... It wouldn't be an episode without a wee little dig at the UCI, Joel. Because
I agree.
It's on the 7th of October.
Yeah.
But you know what else is on the 7th of October? The last monument of the season, Lombardia.
Like, why?
So
Why?
actually, is Wout van Aert going to ride Gravel Worlds or Lombardia? And why should he have to choose? And why should we have to choose, Joel?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So scheduling hiccup in my view.
No,
but
I agree.
Something to look forward to for the
thing
fans.
is that these disciplines complement one another. They shouldn't be in competition.
They shouldn't be.
Again, we always go back to our winter sports here, but we've been speaking about the NRL and the AFL. It's finals time, and the AFL and NRL are going out of their way to ensure that they schedule the preliminary finals that are happening in Brisbane week after next separately, so that people have the opportunity to either go to or watch both. These are rival codes.
I know.
Cycling isn't a rival, isn't it? War with itself.
Well,
isn't
really
it?
though? I mean, I think
But,
that sums it up pretty well.
The other thing you mentioned was the bloody name changes. It's so effing hard to keep up. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's one for next week.
Okay, all right.
If indeed we're still here for episode 61, because I think Merxie's just put out a casting call.
Yeah.
Now, let's finish up. So, see ya. No, kidding. Let's finish up with, I love this, like ridiculous undertakings in the name of records, basically, but not like an Olympic record or a world record, just a bloody cool record.
A bloody cool record.
I'm going to call it a ridiculous record. Lachlan Morton has been at it again and had some, just like folklore-ish running repairs in his latest effort.
He has. He's ridden the Tour de and that goes from the Rocky Mountains in Canada, from Banff, all the way down through New Mexico to the Mexican border.
Yep.
So we're talking like 4,400
Is
kilometres.
that it? Oh, okay.
Right. Pretty solid.
Yeah, it's decent,
It's called the Tour de They've got a race, race inverted commas, that goes through there each June. You have to be self-supported, so it's like bike packing.
Okay.
It's you and your bike, and get there as fast as you can, essentially. The fellow that won this year in June, Ulrich Bartholomews, his name was. Great name, huh?
That's a great
and he did it in 14 days and 3 hours. And Lachy Morton was like, I was busy in June, so I'm just going to do it on my own. Now, he's done it in 12 days, 12 hours and 21 minutes.
Blink and you miss it sort of stuff.
Look, it's beautiful, if nothing else, than it's 12, 12, 21. Well done
really
with the
cool.
ones and the twos. But we know that Lachy Morton's a crazy adventurer and he's so cool. But he's gotten a bit of a problem with his derailleur with about a day to go. He's not one to give up, Joel.
Yeah.
He wasn't able to change gears. Think about that.
Oh.
But so that he could continue and the derailleur wasn't literally sitting on the side of the trail, he got a spare spoke that he packed and he wedged it through the derailleur. He also, I might add, had no brake pads left at this point, and he broke the record and got to the finish with a spoke through his derailleur, no brake pads, 12 days, 12 hours, 21 minutes, taking 2 days off the winner of this year's edition and a full day off the former record.
And a bit
Not
of
bad.
bush bike mechanic work as well.
Bike mechanic.
Bush mechanic, that's the expression. Just
But
improvise.
listen, 12 days, out in the bush, Joel, he certainly didn't have a razor with him. He still didn't cultivate a beard like what you're rocking today.
That's all right.
So
There's still plenty of time to join the prepper army where we're recruiting.
Yes.
Look,
he'd be a good one to have on board, I reckon.
damn right.
Oh.
It's like, anyone help us carry these packs up the mountain? It's
Yep. Get Lachy Morton on board.
Lachy Morton, I think there's just something about this kind of this kind of athlete, isn't there?
It's
There's
just wonderful.
something. And I love the whole, you're out of brake pads. It's like, what? Lachy, you're out of brake. I don't need brakes. They only slow me down.
He raised about 30 grand for a charity called Adventure for All. I just love it. I think that he's really like a great little mascot.
That's fantastic.
For any charity, for any cycling show, for a way of life. I think it's really cool.
We'll get him on the show.
Yeah.
We'll ride on. Not to host, Merksy, just to
Don't
be
get
a
any
guest.
ideas.
Ulrich,
He's like cycling's MacGyver.
I was going to say, thank you. That is his nickname.
Well,
His
I was
nickname
looking
is
at you and I
MacGyver.
nearly said Davy Crockett because of the beard. Anyway,
So I
I'll
didn't
lay
realise
off
I was
the
wearing
beard
that
jokes.
hat. Yeah. Ulrich Bartholomew as well. Uber.
Uber, is it? Oh, that's his nickname.
It is now.
Like
Uber.
Uber.
Ulrich Bartholomew. Uber.
Oh, like
Anyway.
yeah.
Thanks.
I think he might come into some copyright issues with that one.
He'll be right. This has been and shall remain the Wheelhouse Podcast. It's lovely to be back in the bunker and a little bit of a good on us, 60 episodes. And for those who have been along for the ride, thanks for staying. Thanks for sticking with us and plenty more.
Long-suffering fans.
Yeah, look, plenty more fun.
We love you.
Oh, big time. So much more to come ahead. We'll be back to do it all again. Back to our regular routine of being Australia's, I believe, only weekly cycling podcast.
Yes.
I've mentioned that as much as I can. I'm pretty proud of that.
Yes,
Anyway.
yeah. Look, and I can confirm that during our short hiatus, I didn't change the description of the weekly podcast. So, yeah.
No Australia's
fact-check us.
semi-weekly podcast featuring confirmed Olympic commentator Catherine Bates and certified doomsday prepper / lumberjack Joel Spreadborough. It's so good to be here. We'll wrap up Vuelta pretty much next time we're here. We'll look ahead because the thing with cycling is it never, ever stops, and we love that so much. So thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bring a friend.
Bring a couple. Plenty of room.